Back in February of last year, the FDA requested the popular weight loss drug Belviq be pulled from the store shelves after medication was linked to increased risk of cancer. More than a year later, it turns out there are even more dangerous side effects that are associated with it. RT's Brent Jabbar spoke with attorney Stephen Luongo about the ongoing litigation against drug manufacturers.
Stephen, thanks for joining us. Tell us about Belviq first.
Thanks for having me. So Belviq was originally developed in 2012, and it's a drug that is designed to help with weight loss. And what it does is it actually tricks your brain by changing the serotonin level to make you feel full or have less of an appetite. So that drug was developed by Arena Pharmaceuticals in 2012, like I said, and was approved by the FDA in 2012 for its release into the general market, with the caveat that they needed to do follow-up testing. A 5-year plan was done, and then that's where we're now seeing the effects of this carcinogens that are coming through the usage of Belviq and the painful and long-lasting effects.
And so what do we know about this study?
As I said, the study was done over a 5-year period. They had about 14,000 participants in it, in which they reviewed the use of Belviq versus a placebo effect. And what they came to is that the patients that were using Belviq acquired or were unfortunately diagnosed with cancer up to 8%. So obviously a very high number. Those cancers that were believed to have been caused by Belviq are pancreatic, colon cancer, as well as lung cancer.
And where is the litigation on this right now?
So right now there is what's called a MDL, or a multi-district litigation, being formed, and that's being formed in Louisiana. They have been filing motions throughout the country because, as you know, with this experience, with it being on the market for several years, there's cases throughout the country. And what an MDL does is try to help solidify, centralize this litigation so that it helps the claimants, it helps the court process it for judicial economy, and that's being done right now in Louisiana. The court is ruling, or expected to rule, on whether or not that creation will go forward in order to really enhance the litigation, like I said.
And is the study the sole reason? I mean, the FDA basically had said, the regulators said, okay, we'll approve this with the contingency that you do this study. And essentially, it seems kind of weird, and we've talked a little bit about the regulation aspect of a lot of these situations, is that the FDA says, yeah, we can put it on the case or on the shelves, but we really don't know everything about it. So do the regulators have a problem with that?
Well, and that's going to be the interesting point that we find out through the litigation and through discovery is, what did the company know and when did they know it? Because they released a product out into the public, they've harmed people, people have died because of their product that was supposed to help them with weight loss, and we need to know those answers. Those answers need to be answered and found out through discovery. We know that for a fact the FDA did recall the drug last year in 2020, so now it's off the market, and hopefully that will help, obviously, the general population. But the lasting effects are still there. The cancerous effects are still there, and hopefully discovery will show us whether or not this company knew their product was harmful.
And so, Stephen, there's also these other side effects that we're looking at here as well. Tell us about that.
So what we're seeing is increased heart rates, nausea, vomiting. There's been mental and mental health issues that have been affected, or at least claimed to be participating from the Belviq, from the drug. And as we've talked about before in programs, the FDA approved this drug with the caveat, hey, test it later. So really, when we come down to, are our regulators protecting us, and are they doing a good job
at it? I was going to say, is that a problem? And do we see that regularly when it comes to the approval of drugs, that the FDA says, yeah, put it on the shelves, sell it to the general public, make a profit on it, and we'll figure it all out later?
I mean, you would think not. And as a public, we want to believe that our regulators are there to protect us. But we have a drug, as we've mentioned several times, that is changing the chemical makeup of your brain. And that they say, okay, you're approved for now, go test it later. To me, that's a red flag, that's a problem.
Well, and it seems like also when regulators are approving drugs, when they're approving any medical device, they're also saying, hey, we're not doing our own research. We don't actually look into this. We're relying on you or other outside entities, correct?
Yeah, and that is correct, and that's how it's been operated. And hopefully through the continued litigation, that things like that will change.
Stephen Luongo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all for tonight. Find us on Twitter and at Facebook on facebook.com/RT America's Lawyer. Also stream us live on YouTube, and be sure to check out RT's new portable app where you can watch all your favorite shows. I'm Mike Papantonio. This is America's Lawyer, where every week we tell you the stories that corporate media is ordered not to tell. because their advertisers won't let them and because their political associations don't allow for it. Have a great night.